Welcome back to CBS Mornings. Today marks 25 years since Princess Diana was tragically killed in a car crash in Paris. Well, this morning, people are gathered outside the former home in London, Kensington Palace, to pay their respects. As they do every year, they are honoring the memory of the people's princess. Holly Williams looks back at Diana's enduring legacy and spoke with one of the last people to talk with her before the accident.
She was a princess, a rebel, and a mother who lived her short life in the glare of the cameras.
Could I ask you to respect my children's space?
Until suddenly, her light went out.
Diana, Princess of Wales, is dead.
After a car crash in Paris.
They were apparently being pursued by paparazzi on 2 motorcycles.
The British people, famous for their stiff upper lip, were overcome in their heartbreak.
Oh, Jesus! Oh.
For themselves and for Diana's 2 young sons.
Do you miss her?
I miss her hugely. I miss her laughter, and I just miss that sort of spontaneous thing when she'd call and say, come to lunch, or do you want to see a movie?
Richard Kay is a journalist who struck up an unlikely friendship with Diana and told us he spoke to the princess the night she died.
I was one of the last 4 or 5 people that she called.
What did you talk about?
It dealt a lot with the publicity that had sort of surrounded those last days and weeks of her life. And she talked about how fed up she was. Now, I had heard this before, but this time I felt she really meant it. She talked about leaving the country. She talked about going to America, settling there.
On paper, she was a perfect fit for the royal family.
I'm not going to say anything, please.
Aristocratic, beautiful and demure.
And I suppose in love.
Of course.
But even before her so-called fairy tale wedding, she'd become something unique. A royal who was also a megawatt celebrity. As things turned frosty with Prince Charles, she became a rule breaker, championing causes like HIV patients and landmines.
You just know.
And giving this bombshell interview about her troubled marriage.
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
We now know the journalist lied to get the interview. Her relationship with the media was always complicated.
Her legacy, of course, is mainly rests in the shape of her sons.
What would she make of the fact that they had this falling out?
I think that were she still with us, there would have been no split between Harry and William.
If she was still alive today, what would she be doing?
Well, I mean, she'd be 61. She'd obviously be a very proud grandmother. She might have remarried. She might even have had a second family. She desperately wanted to have a daughter or 2.
In recent years, she's been portrayed in films like Spencer and the TV series The Crown. But there was only one Diana. And even the glittering younger generation of royals can't recapture her magic. A strange cocktail of glamour and vulnerability.
This is Kensington Palace, Diana's former home, and you can see the tributes that people have laid out in her honour. Arguably, one of the biggest impacts she had on this country was to make the royal family a little bit more relaxed, a little more down to earth, perhaps even a bit more human. Nate.
Wow. Holly Williams at Kensington Palace. Thank you.
Yeah, the magic and her story.
Yeah.
And when you think about, too, all that she had to deal with the paparazzi, especially that night that she was killed.
And members of the royal family at her funeral, in fact, blamed the paparazzi. There was a big Gallup poll of the British public. More than 40% thought the photographers were extremely to blame for what happened.
You know, she embodied royalty, but I think her best quality was her relatability. That's why the world loved her.
And her love for her sons.
Yeah. No doubt about it.